Hello, my hoopy fruits, and oh my goodness, it is so hot outside. I went to get the laundry and got a little melty. Actually, my face is feeling kind of soggy. So, if I take my glasses on and off, that's why. It's because there's like sweat sticking to them and it just feels awful. But anyway, that's not what this video is about. This video is the story of a possibly haunted refrigerator. Sound intriguing? Yeah, it's an interesting story. Now, I'm not big on like ghostly experiences and hauntings. It's like most of them, like the Ghost Hunter shows. It's like, that's real. Sure. But there have been a few things in my life that I just do not have a rational explanation for whatever reason. And this is one of them. So, I had some friends who were renting a house. It was about 25 years. It was 25 years at the oldest, and it was, run down. It wasn't the greatest place. You didn't really keep it up, but it was functioning. Like, the roof wasn't caved in, but there were a few really weird things about it. Like, for instance, the kitchen was hardwood floor, and it wasn't like a laminate. It was actually wood, and I remember this because like they had to sandpaper it, which is really strange because there are people who were living it before and they apparently were fine with splinters in the kitchen, or maybe they just wore shoes in the kitchen all the time. It was weird. We never did quite figure that one out, or why somebody would put a hardwood floor in the kitchen. The only place weirder I can think of for that would be a bathroom. I mean, laminate's fine. We have laminate in our bathroom and it's cool, but something that's gonna give you splinters just doesn't seem cool in the place you're going to eat. But anyway, that's not what the story is about. It's just this house. The point is, this house was old. This house was creaky. It was 2 stories, and the living space was basically downstairs. No, it was, what's that thing like? My mom's house has it. It's like the downstairs is kind of a basement, but not really. And then there's like what's the word for it? It's like you enter in the middle of the house and one way goes up and one way goes down. If that makes any sense to you. If I'm I really should have looked it up before I started telling this story, but that's not how I roll. So anyway, old creaky house is and for a couple months everything was fine until the refrigerator started smoking. And I did not know at the time the refrigerator could smoke, but there it was, a smoking refrigerator. So we unplugged it, we got a dolly and we moved it out, and it was fine, except we did not have a refrigerator. So we called around for people, and somebody was like, hey, actually, I have this old refrigerator in the storage. And we were like, cool. And they were like, it's really, really old. The only reason I still have it in storage is that I'd have to pay for someone to take it away. And I don't want to do that. So I'm not even sure if it still works because it's like 10 years old. And if I remember correctly, like, refrigerators are expected to work till like they're 15 years old. So it was like, okay, if it's 10, that's fine. So we had to talk about it and we're like, yeah, let's go for it. So we got the refrigerator. And, so it was, on a Wednesday or a Thursday. So we got the refrigerator. It works fine. It got rid of the other one. I'm not sure what happened. Sorry, I'm getting messages. I may have to go if I hear a knock at the door. There's a package coming. But anyway, so there. See, Wednesday or Thursday. So that Sunday, we were doing something, and one of my friends is eating a sandwich, and like he came down and he's like, "Hey, sorry to whoever sandwich I ate, but it was there and I was really hungry, so I'll get you back sometime, just ask." And everyone was like, okay, whatever. Just figured that, like, maybe he was drunk or stoned or something, because nobody had made any sandwiches. So it was just like awareness. It was like, whatever. So the next week on Sunday, somebody had, it was, let's see, it was Jake, Kevin, I can't remember the other roommate. Allison, I want to say, but I could be wrong. Anyway, I think it was something that started with A, but she didn't like me, so we didn't really talk that much. So I'm sure that she'd be totally cool with me forgetting her name. So, Allison was like, yeah, so there was a sandwich, thanks, Jake, who was the first sandwich, because it was the dude with the sandwich at first, then it was, what's her face, I'll just call her Allison, because why not, and, he's like, I didn't make a sandwich, I don't know what you're talking about. She's like, ha ha ha, that's so funny, whatever, you weirdo. And so it actually went on, and I actually had seen these sandwiches, and I didn't touch one because they weren't my sandwiches, and I wasn't a rude savage. I'm still not a rude savage. Anybody who disagrees with me is a liar. But anyways, so this goes on for like 2 months, and people are just like eating these sandwiches and just figuring that it was, like a joke. So after 2 months, everybody was downstairs, and Jake goes up to the kitchen, and he's getting something, and he's like, you guys? And we're like, what? And, he's like, so there's a sandwich here that wasn't there before, and all of us were downstairs. And, like, there was a, room upstairs near the kitchen, but, like, pretty much everybody chilled out downstairs. So, I mean, there was some reasons for somebody to go. There was, like, a space, like, I guess it could have been used as an office. It was just, like, used for storage and stuff. And then there was a bathroom upstairs, and then there was a bathroom downstairs. It was not like my mom's house, which the floor plan was completely different, but, like, I'm kind of seeing my mom's house, and it's kind of funny because, like, the floor plans were not the same at all. So anyway, he's like, yeah, I don't understand, and, like, we're trying to figure out what's going on, because, see, the thing about the creaky floors is that there is no way that somebody could have used that kitchen and made a sandwich without us hearing it. Like, I mean, it was so creaky that, like, even if you turned up, like, a boombox, like, full blast, you would hear it, like, okay, I actually don't know if you can hear that. But, I mean, you'd hear something, no matter how faint. So we're like, okay, that's really creepy. And, all of the stuff was, like, put away. There was, like, no silverware left out. Like, nobody had heard, like, is anybody, like, washing any dishes or anything. So we were like, are you sure that you, like, don't, like, aren't just forgetting that there was a sandwich there earlier, you know? I mean, because we're like, all rational, very skeptical people. So it was just like, okay, you know, maybe he made the sandwich when he was high, and then he forgot about it, and he was like, ah, sandwich. And it was like, and for a while, like, we thought that, like, everybody else, like, the 3 other people were, like, just pulling, like, this weird elaborate prank. And so that happened, and then no mysterious sandwiches appeared for a month and a half. I was gonna say 5 or 6 weeks, but, like, either way, a month and a half is, like, accurate. So, there was on Sunday, it was a Sunday after that, and the toilet had overflowed, and the toilet was always overflowing. That's not really surprising for this place. The plumbing was shot. Like, almost everything about the house, there was something a little off about it, but we were renting it for super cheap, so it's like, if we complain, landlord might decide not to rent it for super cheap. So yeah, it was one of those situations. So the toilet overflowed. So and Jake was plunging it, and Kyle and Allison were in the room by it. Like, there was a room here, and the bathroom would be, like, right here on, like, the other hall, and then there was a closet. So, like, I come up because everybody was upstairs, and I was by myself, and I was trying to be sociable, and it was like, so I walked by the kitchen, and nothing's there. The light was off. So there were 4 people in this certain space, and nobody else was there. And I need you to understand that. Seriously, there was nobody there. All the doors were locked from the inside, and the windows were shut. AC was on because it was summer, and it was in Georgia, which is like 10 times hotter than it is now. So if the windows were open and there was no AC, we would be suffering immensely. So yeah, so there was no way for somebody to, you know, waltz in and waltz out. So we're sorry, this is just, it's weird, and I can't believe I'm talking about it, because this is like something that I don't really talk about, just because it's a really strange thing. So we're talking, we're going to the other room, and we're getting the bucket for the plunger out of the storage room, and we're walking back after cleaning the plunger, and the light is on in the kitchen, and there is a sandwich on the counter. Now, before, the sandwiches had always been in the refrigerator, but this time it was on the counter, and they were always ham and cheese sandwiches, which I'm sure isn't an important detail, but it's just kind of strange. Like, But see, the thing is that even from the same floor, you would have heard the creaking. I mean, this was like a obscenely loud, creaky floor. So if somebody had managed, like, say if somebody had, like, smashed the windows downstairs, which, okay, unlikely, but let's say that somebody could, and, like, nobody had heard it, and managed to go upstairs and went into the kitchen and made a sandwich, you would have heard them on the floor. Because there's no way, like, even if you were trying to be, like, super sneaky, like, if you were toe walking, it would have been heard. Because I'd been up there to, like, get a snack and, like, try tiptoeing across the floor and woken people up because it was so loud. So there is no logical way that could have been made without us hearing it. But it was made, and nobody heard the floor move. Nobody, like, heard any glass breaking, like, any footsteps, any clattering of silverware, or anything like that. And, to this day, I have no idea what was going on there. They actually ended up getting rid of the fridge, not because, because they were scared of, like, the sandwich ghost or whatever. It was because, there was a falling out, and, we all went their separate ways. So I have no idea what happened to the fridge. Obviously, since this was, like, in the early aughts, like, the fridge is dead. Like, it's obviously gone kaput by now, but, yeah, that's just, one of the weird stories that I have no logical explanation for. If you could come up with an explanation that would actually make sense, then, leave a comment. And, if you want to hear more wacky stories like this, subscribe and like this video. Okay, hope your day is cool and fruity. Bye-bye.